This is a summary of the work that we've been doing on the RGS scorecard and how we're going to be implementing it inside of the MyObjectives environment. As a reminder, we've gone through the following steps. We've captured the RGS strategy. We've cascaded it down to your area and team, and then we've begun to work on your key objectives and results. Later on, we'll implement it in the scorecard software and help you launch it. So let's take a look at each of these steps. In terms of capturing the RGS strategy, as you know, we developed this draft strategy map that we then worked with the leadership team at CPA Canada and come out with a refined strategy map. The next step was to cascade it down to each of the teams inside of RGS, and each team made a minor change to the strategy map to make it theirs. The next step is to reveal your objectives and key results. So let's take an example area. In this case, we're going to take a look at the risk strategy performance management area. And if we take a look at that strategy map, we should be able to list their strategic objectives down the left. And what they've done is they've taken the same strategic objectives we had in the group map, but they've changed the weightings to describe their key priorities. We then considered what are their key processes or deliverables. And in their case, we looked at deliverables. They work on sustainability, strategy, performance, financial risk management, and information management and technology. And there must be a relationship between delivering on those topic areas and delivering on the area strategy. So what we then did is we rated and assessed the impact on successfully achieving that area's impact on achieving the team's strategic goals. And by coloring these based on the multiplication of impact times weighting, we identified the key measurement areas. And as we continue this across all processes, we can see that creating and developing knowledge is important, as is utilizing the community of practice. Then the lighter gray, areas like publishing content, delivering engagement and value, are secondary. The next step is if we take a look at each strategic goal, it turns out that we basically have the same objectives. So for example, all of the teams work on creating and developing knowledge. Well, those areas have a common three-step objectives. I have to identify the topics to work on, then I need to research the topics to work on, and then finally we need to develop the content. So these repeat themselves across all teams, although they have a different priority for different teams. So we then took those and mapped each of the corporate level objectives into what your team needs to do. So for example, if we take a look at that create and develop knowledge, the three objectives were identify topics, research topics, and develop content. So these are a list of the generic objectives that chances are most of the teams inside of RGS need to work against. So earlier on, we did that ontology where we took a look at those strategic objectives, your core processes or deliverables, and scored them. What we should now be able to do, if we take a look at, for example, the area of strategy, is identify particular metrics for each one. So for example, for I4, utilize our community of practice, the metrics we came up with are overall, we need to manage the sessions is the objective. The indicator in this case, the activity, is we need to run a bunch of advisory board meetings. And overall, we want to run 5 of them this quarter, or 5 web sessions. So what we've identified is the objectives that we saw before, what are the activities that this team needs to do to achieve them, and what is the target performance for this quarter. Now, in subsequent quarters, we might have a different target based on different priorities, different resources, the fact we've completed this activity. But success for us this time is 200 page views, 5 topics reviewed with the advisory board, 10 seminar topics that we've attended, and so forth. So we're now at the point where we can begin entering this into the MyObjectives software. So those same results map in straightforward. We identify the objective, the key result, and the performance level, as well as which strategic objective they fit into. The next step is we'll assign accountability through the RACI framework. So again, here's the key result area we just described, and here are the people responsible, approvers, consulted, informed, and so forth. And we're done. The next step is to begin managing the business using this new scorecard.